To say that Donald Trump is often confused. Look, as an aside, I don't understand what it would be like it would be terrorizing to go through life like on the edge of your seat, never knowing what you're going to say, what's going to come out of your mouth, how stupid you're going to look, proving to the world that you have no idea the things that are happening around you. And it becomes more perilous when that person is the president of the United States of America, with the weight of the decisions that come along with that position. Donald Trump yesterday was on Air Force One. He was being asked about the tariffs that he's going to impose. And was it going to be 10 to 15 countries? No. Is it going to be all of them? No. And then he says, oh, well, it is going to be all of them. It's a lot of countries. Donald Trump, the Republican Party would love you to think that this is like some well thought out strategy of the economic policies of Donald Trump. And it really is just shit that he adheres to, that maybe he heard a few decades ago about whether tariffs are good or bad, or how they got us through before we had income tax in this country. You know, we haven't always had income tax. It came around in the 19-teens. And the Republican Party, because they are just a cult who bends the knee, they love the boot of Donald Trump. They're very into the Republican eroticism, as I am wont to call it. It is all very gross, but all it does is back up whatever Donald Trump says. They have to contort themselves into making it make sense as they implement the policy, no matter how crazy, no matter how damaging, no matter how nonsense. And there's no better explanation and example of this than what took place during this tiny little interaction on Air Force One, where Donald Trump he gives up the game that he didn't know shit about what's going on. Anyway, watch this and we'll talk about it on the other side.
On the tariffs that you're planning, so you're expecting to hit something like 10 to 15 countries, is that right?
No.
All of the countries across the board?
Not 10. I don't know who told you 10 or 15 countries.
We heard that. So we heard that you were going to aim for the 10%.
But you didn't hear it from me.
Okay, so how many countries will be in that initial tranche?
You'd start with all countries, so let's see what happens. There are many countries involved.
On the Russian.
I haven't heard a rumor about 15 countries, 10 or 15 countries.
So you're starting with all countries?
Well, essentially, all of the countries that we're talking about. I wouldn't be talking about all countries. It's not a cutoff. And if you look at the history and you look at what's happened to us, you go to certain places, go to Asia, and you take a look at every single country in Asia, what they've done to the United States in trade. And by the way, in military in a certain way. You look at, take a look at trade with Asia, and I wouldn't say anybody is treated as fairly or nicely, but we are going to treat them. We're going to be much more generous to them in terms of heart. We're going to be much more generous than they were to us.
What have we done? This is an objectively stupid person who is running the executive branch of the government. He is 1/3. He is a co-equal branch of government, and he's and military, and they've treated us unfair with military too. What does that mean? How has Asia and Asian countries treated us unfairly military? Donald Trump. Why can't a reporter ask a follow-up question? No, not all of them. It's going to be all of them. But is it both? Is it all of them or not all of them? You're not explaining all of the unfair ways with which the rest of the world has treated the richest nation on the planet, the most powerful nation on the planet, and now, once again, the most manipulative, abusive nation on the planet. And reporters, how many countries are there, Donald Trump? Just toss out a question. Get an answer from him. It's going to, well, it's all the countries that we're talking about. Well, of course, it's going to be all the countries that you're saying there's going to be tariffs on. Which are those countries? Is this another wait and see? Another cliffhanger like you're running a reality show here, Donald Trump? When real lives hang in the balance? Real livelihoods hang in the balance. The American economy itself hangs in the balance. It's a failure on all parts here. It's a failure of Americans who voted for this abject moron. It's a failure of journalists to hold him accountable. It's a failure of those around Donald Trump to try to rein him in. He is not a king. He is the president of the United States. He is a public servant. And we need to start treating him like the servant that he is. I will leave it there. I'll leave it right there. What do you think? You can comment below. That'll help the algorithm to share this content with new possible subscribers and viewers. I would appreciate that very much. You can also call the voicemail line. Leave me a fewer than 3-minute voicemail. Otherwise, Google voicemail will cut it off. It'll just shut off on you right in the middle of your voicemail. Hopefully it's not in the middle if it's at the 3-minute mark. That is 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, the old-fashioned way, you can email me daily at dollemore.com. We have launched wide with the children's book, The Grateful Child. Today is that day. You can go to amazon.com, search The Grateful Child. There'll be a link below. Go buy a copy. It helps support the channel, helps support my best friend. You may remember, maybe you didn't see the interview. He almost died in Scotland last year. He made it through. He is alive and well, and we published a book together. I wrote the foreword for it. That's why I'm involved. And anyway, it would be great for you to pick up a copy. And it's good for kids, good for adults. Great gift from an adult to an adult parent. It's fantastic. It's called The Grateful Child. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. Follow me on social media if that's your thing. I am everywhere at Dollemore. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. Until then, be genuine. Take care of one another.